We got a text in from Bubba. He was talking about if Mickey doesn't get the contractual head coaching job. And I had said that in some way, shape, or form, I would think Mickey would return to the staff. I don't think it would be meddling in any way.
Suggestion.
What usually happens when a new coach takes over a program, he gives, usually it's a common courtesy. Doesn't happen with everyone, but most of the coaches do interviews for the prior coaching staff. We've seen it actually a few times in the past where that coach gives an interview and they bring back a coach. And I think that Mickey's resume by itself does an interview with the coach. There's a pretty good chance that coach is going to want Mickey on his staff. That's what I mean by in some way, shape, or form. I would think he would return, but he might also, if he doesn't get the head coaching job, he might want to go elsewhere. Because like Mickey says, through the years, he's met a lot of coaches and stuff. He's seen a lot. So he's wanted, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think Mickey he's widely coveted. If it again, like I say, he's our coach right now, so that's something for a later time. But yeah, they give him that courtesy interview. That happens. Sometimes they stay. We've seen that times it here. You know, so as far as that goes, childhood friend right here, Latoya. She's like a little sister. Good to hear you laughing out loud. We need to hear you sing your old Big Red song at the beginning of the game on the field with the mic. I think if I sing, that'll make them do worse. We don't need any AD's vocals. Toya, I appreciate you. I love you. I appreciate you. I love you. So thank you so much. And Bubba, great point as well. What's our next clip that we can throw on there?
So let me look through a couple.
So was Chili D your stage name or?
Chili D was before AD. Chili D came about, I would say Chili D. Sometimes they call me Cool Breeze.
Ooh, Cool Breeze.
Chili D.
I like that.
AD did not come about. Listeners, the story, the genesis of how AD came about, you guys know.
Yep.
Turner Gill started calling me AD when I was the ball boy at the Big Red football schools when I was a kid. I've been running around that stadium, like I've said before, since about 83, 84. One of my older brothers was the equipment manager for the football team. And Coach Solich hired me. That's why I got so much. I've known those guys since I was a kid. Coach Solich, he gave me my first job ever as a ball boy. And Coach Gill started AD. I looked around like you're talking about Aaron Davis, AD. And AD, and that was years ago. And there's people who don't even know my real name. Just AD, so it's weird. So nevertheless, we've got some great other clips coming up here. What's the next one you think that's a good one to listen to next?
Okay, so we have a lot of the narrative yesterday when we looked back at Oklahoma was Mickey Joseph talking about how he wished he would have slowed things down, slowed the tempo down.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really fascinating because if you go back, so here's the thing, guys, and I know this predates Mickey Joseph arriving here. If you go back to the game in 2021 between Nebraska and Oklahoma at Norman, Nebraska was a 17.5 or 18-point underdog in that game, and Oklahoma still had a high-powered offense, right? Like they usually do. And the way we went into that game saying the one way that Nebraska is going to compete in this game is if they slow things down, they keep it low scoring game. They did so, and they lost 26-19 or whatever the score was.
Right.
So you walked away from that game saying, listen, Nebraska did what they had to do to stay competitive in that game.
Yeah.
Now, this year, what were we saying? The defense wasn't nearly as good as it is last year. So we were saying on Saturday at the pregame show, expect a shootout and you just hope Nebraska can outscore Oklahoma, right?
Right.
So I thought it was interesting when Mickey Joseph yesterday talked about slowing things down. And he goes, this question was, when did you arrive at the decision to slow things down? And it's a kind of a shorter clip, but here's Mickey Joseph.
It was too late when I thought about it. It's 35-7. I should have made that decision on Thursday. That's why I said it's on me. I made that mistake. And I can own it.
There you go.
When you go into games, I think if we're all fair with ourselves, there's a lot of things in hindsight we wish we would have done during a game or planning or a project, whatever. You look back at it and say, I could have done that. Mm-hmm. I think people have to put themselves in that situation too. It's like drinking, not even from a fire hose, like drinking from the ocean.
Yeah.
Like being dumped outside and you're supposed to process all this. Each game, there's going to be more decisions that will be made to where, strategy, she's thinking about this, even just just tempo. Little small things like that make a huge, make a huge impact later on. Those are all things we kind of learn on the job, if you would. And, in his defense, there's going to be those times. There's going to be those times.
Yeah. Going back to a certain team that I follow in the NFL, they've got a coach.
Steelers?
Oh, no, them too. Oh, don't even get me started on Canada right now, man. I'm still pissed off.
But they've got,
gosh, he don't have any excuses.
But the Broncos, for instance, they've got a new coach this year.
Mm-hmm.
His in-game decision-making has been very rough the first 2 games.
Very.
And that's when you have a young coach, it'll take adjustment. And I think that's what Mickey goes back to. He's like, why he said it was on him, because he knew that he had made some errors in the way he coached, which would be fully expected, being that it's, your first game coaching at Nebraska. But one thing I know about Mickey is, being the detail-oriented person that he is,
he's wearing a shirt. He made a shirt.
I like that shirt.
He's got his own shirt. Terrell Farley has got the black shirt
Terrell
on.
Farley's peeking through the window. They're up next.
But attention to detail,
and
making things better and correcting your errors. That's one of the things that I love Mickey, the way he's just upfront about it. He's like, yeah, I made a mistake.
Yep. Own it.
You own it and you get better from it.
Yeah.
So I look forward, in 2 weeks when Nebraska takes the field, we'll see a better product. All right, we'll send it to break here. 93.7 The Ticket, The Drive.